So we've obviously still on this conversation of manifestation, and I gave you guys a bit of homework last week to contemplate and ponder on. So we may start with that. I really feel that what we're sharing right now is really profound, to the point that I may even write a book just on this one subject. Like, yeah, and when I say I'll write a book, I'll just get someone to ghostwrite it. But it's really, really profound, because it's that idea of manifestation is such a big concept, such a big topic, and it's misinterpreted in so many different arenas, or whatever you want to call it. But and I think people keep talking about parts of it, but I find that what we're delivering and what we're sharing here right now is the most complete presentation of manifestation, creation, transformation. Okay, I really want you to have a practice on it. I really want you not just practice it, but practice it, but just really want to get at your feet wet and just really identify what's what, because at the end of the day, we are part of a group that is all about really living this. And of course, everyone's going to be at a different understanding or level, if I can use it a level, of where you are on this journey of manifestation. Okay, where I would avoid talking about manifestation when people are new, with you guys, it's like all I want to talk about right now, because I think it's super supportive, and it's such a complete picture, and it's really, really powerful that we are actually pondering together. I give you the homework, you go and ponder on it, and what did you come up with? That's the thing. In manifestation, or as you go deeper in your awareness of who you are, one of the biggest things that starts to take place is you become aware of space, because manifestation is all internal process. It's about the nothingness. So you're becoming more and more aware about space. But then as you come back, and this is where you'll really grasp the beauty about the relationship between manifestation and transformation here, is because when you bring the feeling out, right, because you start to see form, right, you then find that your space gets limited, right? And then you'll notice and you'll start to say things like, I don't have enough space, right? And you're trying to make more space, right? In transformation, you get to understand that space itself is infinite. So you don't lack space. That's because when you begin to see the form, you see it as the form rather than the formless. So then you feel like you don't have space, and you'll use that word. And we have continuously, you don't have enough space for that, right? You're understanding how you grasp it. There's not enough space, right? But you get to a point of realizing in truth that space is infinite. How do you not have enough space? So you'll get to an understanding in transformation. You'll be like, I've been using that term, I don't have space. How the fuck did I lack space? Like, space itself is infinite. You don't lack space. Can you see what I'm saying? Again, and just another little, these are the things you're going to get to a point of realizing. I was always following this feeling. Oh, it was always me, right? I was always following the decision that's already been made. But you become aware of making that decision. But remember, it's different. The one makes a decision is timeless, right? There's only one moment. It's not deciding, should I do this or not? And that's why it's very difficult as you are in the intermediate level, if you like, right? You don't become aware of the decision being made because it's already made. So it's very difficult to get to the point as your awareness becomes more, as you become more still, or you go deeper and your awareness becomes more profound and more spacious, expanded, right? You, as much as the decision's already made, you can feel that you just made it. The decision-making process doesn't change. but you can feel it was an extension of you, where before in manifestation, it's not an extension of you. You're waiting for the feeling. When you feel the feeling, you then decide to follow the decision that's already made. But what feeling are you following? Well, the one, my true self. But the true self is not you all the time. It's not really you. You're just following it because you like the experience of. And remember, why do we follow the feeling? In WTF, we talk about you follow the feeling not because of the outcome or results. It's because of who you become as you follow the feeling. Who you're becoming? You're becoming one with the feeling that you're following. And you follow the feeling long enough, you act on the feeling, you say the feeling, right? Through expression, we talked about this last week. You start to notice that you are one with it, right? You don't follow the feeling, or you follow the feeling and then you let your ego hijack it and go, well, I decided this and da-da-da-da. Well, you just lost the feeling. You can't stay one with it. But your ability to stay one with the feeling will bring you to the point of realizing you are the feeling. That's why you follow the feeling. Remember in the WTF, I draw the one and I draw all the different particles or different drops, and I draw a path going back home to being one. And I write back, you're going back home. Everyone here is going back. That's when you're becoming one with the feeling. Damn, this shit is good. That was my ego that said that. Just in case someone in the future is watching this, because this is only for the FTW or Infinite Coaching Group, and someone may watch this and they'll be like, that was his ego. Yes. Yes, it was.
So you gave us homework.
Hang on, before we go to that homework,
So that's exactly what you're talking
I
about.
want to keep talking about, because I'm going to deliver what I wrote. Okay? I'm actually going to read it to you because I felt that I put, well, what came to me to write was in that moment, and it's in that writing, and I'll probably share it with you. But I'm just going to read it to you rather than actually, I could just start from the beginning and go, okay, creation is this, manifestation is this, and then lead up to transformation. But I think I'd like to give you what came from me in that moment, and I wrote it down on a piece of, well, I wrote it on an iPhone, on my notes. So I felt rather than just tell you, I'm going to actually share with you, and hopefully you can grasp, just like the scroll, the feeling that's put into that. This is unedited, so I'll probably edit it and give you a copy of it. Maybe I'll give everyone a scroll. It's like you're waiting. Go on then.
Yeah, I'm like,
read it. I just want to make sure there's, you know, you guys are all adding as much value as I am. Like what Greg just shared and Amy, like it's still like keeps adding to the pile. Okay, I will read it. So I'm going to read this now. And then we'll see where it takes us from there. So a couple of things that I've got on my note as I've been pondering on manifestation, OMG manifestation version 2.0, part 1 and 2 and 3. So we spoke about, obviously, just this is reminders and just notes. Obviously, we've already covered this. The ego manifests from need, and the one energy manifests from love, right? In love, you already have it. The decisions is also already made. This is the part I want you to understand. The ego manifests in order to receive, where the one manifests in order to give. We've already covered this, right? Just highlighting it. Why does it manifest in order to give, right? Because if it's truly from love, you already have it. Okay? Just, again, that's even powerful for the new people to understand that. Manifestation is bringing the feeling out. It is giving It is the giving of your feeling internally to the external. Okay, we spoke about all that. One of the things that I would like to highlight, which is in OMG. I don't know if you guys are actually re-watching the OMG videos. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You actually re-watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're just showing up to this and doing the homework? Yeah, cool. So one of the things you'll realize in that OMG video is that you can't change the manifested, okay? At the manifestation level, you can't change the manifested, right? Because the manifested has already been painted, right? At the transformation, you add paint to it and you change the painting. You don't need a blank canvas. At the manifestation level, you need a blank canvas. That's why you're going towards the nothingness. So again, this is for the newer guys. Don't look at what you don't want, look at what you do. Because they look at what they want to change in what's been manifested. It's like, just go to what you do want. What do you really want? You sense in the nothingness, right? A feeling, right? You're painting a new picture. Okay, we spoke about willing and allowing. I won't go into that. Let's just get into what I really want to share with you, hey? Okay, so again, this is, I haven't edited this, so I've just wrote it pretty much as it came out. So I'll probably stumble here and there when I notice mistakes. And once I edit this, I'll send this copy to you guys so you can read it for yourself, okay? And I'll get you to ponder more. Okay, so creation. So the 3 levels of manifestations. Number 1 is creation. This is when the drop perceives to be separate from the ocean. The drop aligns itself with the same vibration of the ocean and senses through its 6th sense, intuition, creativity, and visualization. Like a surfer catching a wave, of course, the surfer has to know how to, so it's like a surfer catching a wave. And of course, the surfer has to know how to catch the wave and not be afraid of it. Okay, so some people can't even follow the feeling or sense the feeling, right? If they don't have the willingness to catch the wave, or they're afraid of it. They're afraid of the feeling because the feeling is always unknown. So some people don't even follow the feeling because they need to know where the feeling is going. So therefore, they're not going to catch a wave in the first place. That's what I'm saying there. I'll keep anything you're not clear about, pull me up on it. The surfer aligns itself, obviously I'm using a metaphor of a surfer here. The surfer aligns itself with catching and riding the wave in the direction that the wave is taking it. Okay, this is where I'm saying you're not driving the bus. Yeah, you're going to catch the wave, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to go in the direction that the bus is going. You're going to catch the bus, you're going to catch the wave, all right? The surfer aligns itself with, and again, aligning itself is aligning itself with a feeling, but again, you perceive the feeling to be separate to you. You feel yourself to be limited, and when you follow the feeling, you experience its possibilities. The surfer aligns itself with catching and riding the wave in the direction the wave is taking it. Of course, if the surfer is more experienced and more skilled, it can ride up and down and across the wave. If it's a left, or ride the left. If it's a right, or ride the right. That's why I've been talking about surfing lately, Jamie, because I've been pondering on this. But this is always limited to the size of the wave, or if a wave is present at all. You see, that's what the limitation is. You're always waiting for the feeling, right? Rather than bringing the feeling, you're waiting for the feeling. This is creation. Some people will take drugs to try to induce the feeling, people do different things to try to get the creativity going, but they always rely on it coming, right? There'll be different procedures or processes that they will practices to get the feeling going, right? Meditation, or taking drugs, or ayahuasca, or just to get amongst the nothing,
Trying to ignite it,
right? Okay. But they never perceive that to be them. It's always something separate. And again, like I said, some people don't even use the feeling because they're afraid of it, right? So they don't even get creative. They don't even visualize. They don't even look to do what they love or whatever, however you want to see it. So again, I'll say that, of course, if the surfer is more experienced and skilled, it can ride up and down and across the wave, but it is always limited the size of the wave, depending on how up or down it will go, or what tricks it will do, Jamie, or if the wave is present at all. So if there's no wave present, you just sit. So that's why in the teachings at the beginning, it's like if you feel to do nothing, then do nothing. Just sit. That's why you feel to do nothing. There's no wave right now. There's nothing moving in this direction for you right now. So you sit. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with sitting either, because you're waiting for the wave and there's no wave. Of course, you always need to participate in this level. It takes great level of participation. You can't just catch the wave. You have to swim with it, in motion with the feeling, right, to catch it. All right, we know that. I've talked about that in OMG previously. You all know that. So the participation level is great. The highest level of participation level is required here. In the creation level, the power is only sensed. It is not embodied. Okay, you sense it. Where do you sense it? In your body, but it's not yours. You don't believe it's yours. You use it. You don't believe it's you. Sure, your ego might come in later after you've created this outcome or result, or after you got off the wave and you're like, I did that, right? No, you didn't. The wave was there. Yeah, you participated, but the ego takes go. So this is the biggest difference in this level. In the creation level, the power is only sensed. It is not embodied. It is used if it is there to be used, if there is a wave to catch. In other words, you are not the power, you sense it and align yourself with it. You perceive to be still small and experience limitation. Creation is a thinking process, a doing process, a disciplinary process. So that's where you'll find different disciplines, whether you will meditate, whether you will visualize, whether you will, I don't know, so many different things we can list. I hope we can really explore this level. It's huge. It's the base level, and that's where majority of the people are. So law of attraction, all that kind of stuff is touching on all this, right? Creation is a thinking process, a doing process, a disciplinary process. You perceive that your experience of the power is not you, is not because of you, but because of the power. I'll say that again. You perceive that your experience of the power is not because of you, but because of the power. Creation is the external connection to the internal form, becoming aware of connection with the formless. I'll say that again. Creation is the external connection to the internal form, becoming aware of the connection with the formless. You're just becoming aware of the connection between form and formless. Okay, that's what the creation level is, and you tap into that, and then you have creativity and ideas and different things. Okay, we all happy with that? Okay, manifestation. Number 2. This is when you throw away your plans, your goals and ideas in order or to truly sense what is showing up for you. You see, immediately the game's different. Where number 1 is driven for your goals, you know, your vision boards or whatever it is. So I'll say that again, manifestation. This is when you throw away your plans, your goals and ideas in order to be able to truly sense what is showing up for you. That's why you should throw away the goals, because it is interrupting what is true for you. Because what is true for you always comes from the unknown. So I'll continue on. What's showing up for you is what's true for you. Your plans and goals and ideas are to better or improve you. They're not what's true for you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'll say that again. Your plans, goals, and ideas are to better or to improve you. They're not what's true for you. They're to better you, not what's true for you. Right? What's true for you, obviously, is not to better you. Mm-hmm. Okay. What's true for you is not to better you or improve you. I already said that. You already are better at this level, and improvements don't make things better or worse. All right? They're just changes. It's just changing form. Remember what I always say, you always realize at this level, it's just things change form, right? Better or worse is your perception of the form, okay? It's just changing form. Even death and birth is changing form, right? Your perception of that is, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Manifestation is an internal process. We've covered that. Your attention is present with the nothingness, the formless, to allow you to feel when the feeling shows up. At this level, you begin to embody the feeling. And again, I'll say you begin because the level of creation to manifestation or manifestation to transformation is blurred into one. It's not like you get to a point and you go, okay, I'm in New South Wales now, I'm in Queensland, there's the borderline. There is no line, right? The line is blended. Okay, so you notice it's not like, okay, I'm at the manifestation level. You're going deeper into creation to manifestation. You just, does that make sense? Just wanted to make that point. So I'll just say that again. At this level, you begin to embody the feeling. You're becoming the, no, hang on. I'll just go back to that first sentence and then we'll keep going. Your attention is present with the nothingness, the formless, to allow yourself to feel the feeling when it shows up. At this level, you begin to embody the feeling. You're becoming the feeling and experiencing it as though it is you that's showing up when the feeling's showing up. We just covered that. Okay? It starts to blend. Before was the feeling, now the feeling is you. It's not God telling you what to do. It's you as God. And I'm using God because some people are like, God, you go back to the one, don't worry. Okay. It is you that decided to show up in the way the feeling has shown up. It is you that has decided to show up in the way or the form the feeling has shaped in. Okay. You then draw upon this feeling, willing it, we've spoken about this, to bring the feeling out through an expression of doing, acting out, or saying. We spoke about that last week. Okay, so I'll say it again. You then draw upon this feeling by willing it, remember the straw last time, to bring the feeling out or through expression by doing, acting out, or saying. In other words, you're bringing the formless into form by feeling and being one with the formless and bringing it into form by staying one with it as you continue to express the feeling. And that's the question that we're left with last week. How do you stay with the feeling as it continues to come out? Why do you disconnect with the feeling as it continues to come out? Because remember, it's coming from the nothingness, and then it comes, and then it's like, looks at, the different limitations and different things that make you perceive to lack space. So that's a big thing, staying one with the feeling as it comes out. You're being one with the feeling while doing, acting out, and saying what the feeling is moving to do, act out, or to say. Does that make sense? I hope I don't lose you there. This takes a great level of presence and commitment. The other one takes a great level of patience. This one takes a great level of presence and commitment to the now, as any distractions will disconnect you from being the feeling. Okay? And what are the distractions? The expectations that you begin to place on the feeling, the voice that comes and says you decided, or you did this, or that voice, or all the I'll take the next sentence, it'll probably make sense here. In the creation level, you're moved to chase a feeling that could be. This is the biggest difference. in the creation level, you're moved to you're chasing a feeling that could be, in other words, in your goals or outcomes. All right. You're looking for a feeling to be, right? You're chasing a feeling to be, which is usually in the future in your goals or outcomes. Where in manifestation, you're having the feeling now and allowing the feeling to move you towards whatever it can form to be. All right. In other words, in manifestation, you already feel like you've got it, right? And you are moving or following that feeling to however it forms. Does that make sense? You're not attached to how it forms, right? Where was I? Move towards, well, I'll just read that part again. In the creation level, you're moved to chase a feeling that could be in your goals and outcomes. Whereas in manifestation level, you have the feeling now and allowing the feeling to move you towards whatever or however it will form to be. Which is the outcome results. Whatever it can form to be is the outcome and results, okay? So that's manifestation. You ready for transformation? It's pretty short and sweet. Transformation is actually an external process. We've covered that. You're seeing the feeling or energy in the external. You see the form for what it really is. In other words, you're seeing the physical as the formless. You see Jamie, but you're sensing Jamie, okay? You're not seeing Jamie, okay? And obviously this becomes more difficult depending on whatever the process is or how much power you have in that physical. You know, it's easier to look at the flower and sense yourself versus someone who's trying to sue you, right, and sense yourself, okay? Obviously, someone's trying to sue her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got nothing to hide here. So transformation is actually is actually an external process. You're seeing. Do not try and bend a spoon. Instead, try to see the truth. It's a seeing process, right? But you're not just using these two eyes, right? You're using an eye that's. Does that make sense? Yes, she corrected me. I went back here. She went, no, that one. Thanks, Susie. You're right. It's that one. Okay? I want you all to get a tattoo of an eye here now. Okay? If you want to be in this group, you have to get a tattoo of an eye. So yeah, you're right. Thanks for correcting that. Transformation is actually an external process. You're seeing the feeling or energy in the external. You see the form for what it truly is as the formless. At this level, you're allowing yourself to manifest without any roles. Do you remember? Where the other part, there's roles. Everything has a role because it's part of the big picture. All right? At this level, it is you that decided the decision that was already made. In other words, at this level, you become, like I just spoke to you before, you become aware of you that decided for that. Usually you following the decision that's already been made. At this level, you become aware that you decided that.
Can we go back to the roles, Amir?
No. What do you want to, let me finish this and we'll come back to that, Kat. The feeling of this experience is very expansive. Okay? It's not, you're not in the story. You're trying, remember when we expand out to the nothingness, right? And you see yourself and you're floating in the nothingness, that's the feeling. You're still there because you're seeing yourself, right? But you feel very expanded, and a lot of things don't matter the way that it does matter when you're in the body. That's the feeling I can give you, okay? Like, even if you expand out and go into the universe, into the nothingness, and just look at the world, and you on that world, like it's you're still there, but it's almost like you're here, but there's this huge expanded nothingness, infinite energy behind you. That's why I always like to go behind me. I'll tell you about a dream I had the other day in a sec. And that's why I always perceive it behind me, right? Because I've seen it in dreams and different visualizations. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I'll tell you a story in a sec. So yes, in this level, it is you that decided the decision that was already made, okay? The feeling of this is very expanded as one. When you see yourself as the energy in form, you feel much larger than the form. So you still see yourself in the body, but you feel much larger. It's an infinite being in a finite world. That is the experience. How can I give that experience to you? You've had that experience in different meditations or guided processes that I've shared with you. You're still here. You're still looking in front of the mirror, but there's this hugeness about you, as though you're seeing yourself as this drop. Yeah, everything here is trying to explain what the feeling of it is, really. So it's as though you are experiencing form as the emptiness or the formless. Like it's as though you're experiencing. It's like the drop being the drop, but its awareness, it becomes the ocean, right? But it sees the drop. In other words, I always say that you drop can't move the ocean, but the ocean can move the drop. So suddenly your awareness becomes of you moving the drop, but you're still the drop. You're still experiencing the drop, right? Does that make sense? The drop can't move the ocean, but the ocean can move your drop. At this level, your awareness, your understanding, whatever you want to call it, okay, is as though you are moving the drop. There's no power in the drop. You moving it. Where in the manifestation level you cannot change the manifested and only manifest, in the transition level you are actually transforming the manifested. I covered that before. The other day I had a dream. And in my dream, and this is the vision I had in the dream, we just had Leah here, right? And Leah, obviously I told you guys, is a new member of the marketing team, and we spent the first day with her that night. That night I dreamt about Leah all night. It was like whenever I'm working, it's all right, calm down, Nif.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I'm working with something new, I feel like I work with it in my dream. Like when I was learning to fly, I would practice it in my dreams. And I would even get insights about flight through my dreams, right? When I was speaking a lot every week in a different city, the things that I was pondering about OMG and what I was delivering in OMG, I would dream about it. Okay, so this is the first time I had a recent dream. So I met with Leah. We spent that night together. We did a social thing, and we hung out. And yes, I had a few drinks. So you're probably thinking it was your drinks, right? But after I went to bed that night, all night I was with Leah. I was working with her, right? And I haven't shared this with anyone, right? But in my dream, I could feel my wings. All right. And I always feel there's something behind me. All right. And you could say they're wings. It feels like the wings. I wouldn't call them the wings, but it feels like there's something there. And in my dream, and I always feel this. I've felt this. I've actually never shared this with anyone. Right. And it probably sounds woo-woo. It's probably why I don't share it, because then you're like, oh, so do we have wings? I was like, right. But I can feel wings. I can feel something. Let's just call it something, right? And especially when something comes to me, or you know when people get goosebump, I feel my wings. I feel the goosebump here, right? And in this dream, Leah goes, "What's this behind you?" And I just went, "This is my wing," right? And I showed her. I said, "Come," and I fell back into it. And I went in my dream. I went into the nothingness. That's why I always say it's behind me. It feels like the nothingness is behind me, right? And I'm experiencing through perception my physical reality, but there's nothing, right? And I actually was afraid of all the expansiveness. I felt like, and I woke up. I always keep going there, Zogi, right? So that's why I always say that. And I always feel myself going back into nothingness. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just my own personal experience or what. That's why I always say the third eye, I went there and you went, no, it's here. Yeah, you're right. It's there. But this sees or is experiencing that. You don't see with these two eyes. It's not the physical. Okay? I will tell you, this is new to me as much as it is for you guys. Obviously, I've pondered it or experienced it to some level to be able to describe it to you. But to live it every day, I am too practicing this. Okay? As I go deeper, this training and coaching that we do here is about the shit I'm experiencing right now. Okay? Usually I won't share anything until I've integrated it completely, and then I share it. But so just so you know, I'm experiencing this as I go along with you guys. Okay? I gave you homework to ponder on. I'm just sharing you my homework. This is what I pondered on.
Is that when you said you fell into it and you're like scared? Is that what happened in LA that time when you had that dream and you called your mom? Like, oh.
Yeah, that was that was a different experience. But it always goes into the nothingness, and you can feel the fear that, and there's got to be no fear from me in that. It's for me to live this completely in the level that I'm just explaining to you guys right now, there's got to be no fear.
Well, any part has...
I have to float in that emptiness.
And the part that brings the fear is the part that thinks it exists.
Yeah, absolutely. Things exist as form only.
Yeah,
okay. But you are the formless that manifests itself into form, but even science has discovered that form is actually formless. Yeah. So you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Have you used your wings in a dream? Because why would you be scared of
I have in lots of dreams I've flown, yes. Yeah. But it wasn't because of my wings. That's when I learned about willingness. Because it taught me, if you will to go that way and fly, you will fly. It was teaching me. And I would fly, and when I didn't have the willingness, I was falling out of the sky and I fell to the ground, right? Yeah, you remember those dreams I was having. So in those dreams, I got taught, I'm teaching myself what willingness was. You have to have the willingness, and that's it. You decide to fly, and you fly, right? And this is all in my dreams, right? I didn't actually fly around, although I did fly to different parts of the world and different experiences. I was like, there was a plane in one of my things. I was like, wow, there's a plane. Anyway, so yeah, it's through these I learn through different things. So that's my pondering for you guys. I hope it's been supportive. But open up my questions, open up your mics again, and tell me where that landed for you, or if you've got any questions around it.
I have a question. What did you mean by you allow yourself to manifest without any roles?
Well, usually the roles is, when you have a role, all right, your feeling that you feel to do something will be in according to your role. Does that make sense? And the only time you transcend all the roles is when you are knowing yourself as an infinite being in a finite world. Otherwise, you are taking place, you are participating as the one experience. So as the one experience or as the one entity, and therefore everyone has a different role, and your role and what it is will be reflected in in what feels true for you to do.
So it's influenced by your role. You're not free.
I mean, if someone doesn't, if someone is completely imprisoned, it's completely shut off, it'll come to them in their thoughts. And the thought will say, go and harm this person. The thought will say, go and that.
Yeah.
And this is where people will be like, no, that person's just crazy.
Yeah.
If that person, and again, if that person does what they feel without any regret, whatever that may be, they actually feel free. But depending on what that person does, whether they're taken or given, will depend on how that relates to your beliefs and it's like the whole thing. If you go back to WTF, and we have some heavier stuff come up in WTF, and we're saying what we're one and da da da. Like, if something has taken place in your life or in the world that you perceive to be harmful or negative, right? My question to you, right, or the person in WTF is, do you believe in a higher thing, right? And most people will say, yeah, I believe in God, right? If they believe in God, right? And I'm like, so you believe God is omnipresent in all people? Yes. So do you think God could have stopped that? Yes. Or do you think that person has more power and can over-influence and throw out God? So therefore, everything that's taken place is in God willing. Now, that's not a message that's ready for everyone. Right? And so that's where you learn more about roles. I remember my mother used to teach me, when I would judge somebody that would cause harm to someone else, whether they stole from them or made them feel bad or whatever, I would judge that person. Or maybe they were, terrorist or, what's it called? I can't even say the word, a child molester or fucking someone, a pedophile. I'm just like disgusted and, just like most people who would feel that way, right? But my mum will go, just be grateful that wasn't your role. Because do you really think that person could do something that was never meant to be done by the one energy? Like, could it not have stopped him or her? Well, of course it could. It's the one energy. It's God. I wonder if I should release this one day. Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I mean, in my body, in my being, it feels wrong to do that, right? It feels wrong to cause anyone harm. I feel like you should be loving to everyone, right? I'm glad I feel that way, but someone else might not. And if they don't, and if they feel to kill someone or go to war or whatever, if it wasn't meant to have happened, could that have been stopped by God or the one energy? Well, yeah, it could have stopped it. Are you saying that one fucking little tart or fucking whatever peasant or whatever you want to call that person that you're judging right now, you think that person has more power than God or energy? It sounds like a bloody... I'm preaching now.
Sermon.
That's why I don't use the word God. But obviously today I am, because there are some religious people amongst us. So
It's a Satan school.
Do you know what I mean? Like that was the basic shit I learned when I was growing up. Like that was a basic. It was just like, yeah, I mean, like this one energy is infinite. If it wanted to, you know, it would. If it wanted to intervene, it would. But this is the most difficult part to swallow. Who is that person? So, yeah, I don't share that with the general public. Well, maybe I have in the WTF.
Yeah.
You do.
I do. Okay. Well, it's been a while. So does that answer your question about the different roles?
Yes, I need to ponder on it a bit more because
Of course. And you had a Catholic background, right? Or you have a Catholic, you're Catholic, right?
well,
Being Colombian?
but my family was pretty chilled about it. Like it wasn't like any other.
Yeah.
Like people in Colombia are really religious, but I'm not. Oh, my family wasn't that much.
Okay. Cool. All right. Just quickly, I mean, we've got 2 or 3 more minutes. Just how's this all landed for you guys? I just want to feel how it's landed for you. My pondering. Any of you guys can talk too.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Your pondering is like very clear. I just got to go away and like just fucking sit with it
And
for a
ponder
long
it.
Time.
I feel like I need to go sit in the sun and just digest.
Yeah.
I just want to bring,
Such a-
like for me, I have to sit with it and just notice again and again my own, relating that and interweaving it through my experience, and then also pondering for what I'm yet to experience.
Cool. Sounds like I've given you guys something to ponder on.
Yeah. I find the manifestation process, I've been using that each day and exploring something different and finding so many different things and realizing so many, it's funny you're talking about roles, but the different roles and rules that I still had or still have in my experience
Yeah.
that I was blissfully unaware of. So good to get them. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Well, this is what I feel. I feel like obviously there's a lot to really ponder on. I mean, you probably have to revisit and re-listen to these 3 recordings we've just done. They're 90 minutes each, and probably really some things to connect with and reflect on and ponder and come to your own realizations. Because obviously, what I say is not the truth. It's what you realize within yourself. What I say just gives you something to go and ponder on, and you know, find that space to allow it for that to land, or for your own realization to land. So, I'm happy to leave manifestation and move on to ego, but obviously we're not done.